do a quick demo of LiveRecorder for Java. This is just a short video showing the main features of LiveRecorder in two parts. First, a demo of microservice recordings, which uses PetClinic as an example. And that shows how we can use the LR API to start and save recordings, and then step across from one recording of a microservice to another. And after that, we'll show a demo of debugging a Kotlin application, showing features such as bookmarks and jump to log file lines, and just to demonstrate that Kotlin works just as well as Java. The PetClinic microservices demo is a fork of Spring PetClinic example that's been adapted to use microservices, and we've added some extra stuff to it to start and save recordings, and also injected a bug, which we'll have a look at in a minute. The Kotlin demo is very simple. It just demonstrates that LiveRecorder for Java works equally well with other JVM languages. And if you'd like more information after this demo, the documentation is there, the source code is there, and the Kotlin source code is there as well. So without further ado, we'll go to PetClinic. So this is should be familiar. Spring microservice. You can click on owners, and so on and so forth. Now we'll start recording it. So to do this, we've added some extra HTTP endpoints to start recording and to save recording on both the API gateway microservice and the customer service microservice. So if we go to here, we can run this curl and we can start recording. Right, recording started. So going back here. So let's click on Franklin. That's fine. Peter is the one that we've injected a bug into, so that is going to not return anything, and we'll see why in a minute. And then we'll click on Carlos finally. That's fine. Now we're going to save that recording. This is saving recordings, and just to give you an idea of the size. There they are. Now we're going to start replay session. So first the API gateway using the recording that we've just saved, and then the customer service likewise, and go back to IntelliJ. We have got breakpoints set in the API gateway, so we'll click on debug, and that will connect. And it just connects over normal. From IntelliJ's point of view, it's a normal JWP JVM remote debug session. IntelliJ doesn't know that it's talking to our recording agent. So we've hit that breakpoint. We'll go to customer service. There's no breakpoint set on this, so it will just run through to the end of the recording. We'll let that run through. And you can see it's reached the end of the recording. So, going back to the API gateway, we're currently here. We've got buttons to do we've got the normal forward operations, and we've also got reverse versions of those. We've got reverse continue, we've got reverse step out, so we can, for instance, step over like that, and we can also do reverse step over and go backwards. So we'll step over, and now what we're going to do is step across from one microservice to the other. So I've got the step across button here, and the way this works, so I'll click on that. And the way this works is it's searching in the other recording. It uses telemetry, basically. It uses like the span ID in the HTTP headers and the timestamp to go and locate the appropriate method call on the other side. So it's searching through and it's jumping to that method. And occasionally it jumps to the wrong thread, but that's okay. So so there we are. We are on the other side, and we can see that the owner ID is 1. We can step over. And we can just double check that the owner is what we expected it to be, which is George. Okay, another thing we can do is we can use that span ID. So if we go to ZipKey, which is showing the span IDs, which is showing the calls, and we sort it by start time. You can see our calls to do the save recording here. If we go to the middle one, which was the one that didn't work, which is owner 5, which is the one that failed, and we click on customer service, we can copy the span ID here. And then we have a log jump panel here. You can enter a timestamp in there if you've got a timestamp from a log file, but we're going to enter the trace ID and go to that. So this is so basically it goes back to the start of the recording. It's a little bit slower than step across because there's no timestamp to aid it. So it's searching through the recording for that trace ID on the customer services side, and once it's located it, it'll jump to it, and we'll be able to confirm, and it should show us ID number 5. And yes, there's ID number 5. So we've used the trace ID to jump to that location. So again, we can, and now we can, I mentioned that there was a bug in this. So let's see if we can figure out what's going on. So let's go. Now the bug is if the name is equal to Peter, then it throws that exception, and so that's the bug. If we go, another thing we can do, so we can run backwards to there. We can also, there's also a step back across button, which does the reverse of step across. So this is going to go back to the call in the API gateway. So I click on that, and it's doing a similar thing and going backwards to the API gateway call with owner ID 5. So what we should see on the other side is, and there's our call, one step down in the stack, but there is our call to our owner ID 5. Okay, that completes the microservices part of the demo. Now let's go and have a look at Kotlin. Part of the demo, we're going to do a Kotlin program, and it's a very simple Kotlin program, and this just demonstrates that from IntelliJ's point of view, it doesn't realize it's talking to our agent at the other side, and Kotlin works just the same as Java and Scala or whatever. So everything just works. So we've got a simple Kotlin program with a producer and a consumer, and we've got a breakpoint there in Apple. We've also got here a conditional breakpoint. The condition is turnix equals 7. So we'll start our replay session, and this, unlike the LR API thing, this is a recording of the entire program. so from the very beginning. So we'll just replay this and connect to it. And then, as you can see, it runs through to our breakpoint. Let's take a note of the value of R there, 22. We can add a bookmark. Bookmarks are basically positions in the recording that you can save and you can come back to later. So you can continue forwards, and then if you've got a very complex program, you might want to create a number of bookmarks of showing interesting places in the recording. So if we continue forwards again, we can add another bookmark. We can turn off this breakpoint for now and just continue through to, and that's our conditional breakpoint with turnip equals number turnips equals 7. So we'll add a bookmark there, and then you can go back to those bookmarks. So if I click on that, for instance, it's taking me back to where R is 22. And similarly, we can go forwards again to turnips 7. So what else can we do? We can open a log file. So we've got logging statements here, and that's creating a log file. So let's go and open the log file that's created. And find a secretly interesting, so there's a thing here about an unknown vegetable. So let's go and have a look at that. Basically, it's just going to go to the timestamp. So it gets the timestamp out of the log file, and then it jumps to that timestamp. So if we got the stack, we can see that we've got the logging statement that outputs that timestamp. Look at the console here. We can also copy and paste the timestamp. And I think I mentioned earlier, but in the log jump panel, we've got a way to paste in a timestamp. So if we paste that in, then it's taken us to that location at the beginning, and that's it. It all just works pretty much the same as Java. All the step over, step back buttons just work the same with Kotlin, and that's it. If you want any more information, then please, as mentioned, go to the website. Thank you.